Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhu, Jayom Vishnupad Paraman Savai Vajakashai Sitzadasi Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the Yasam devotees. All glories to the Yasam devotees. All glories to the Yasam devotees. Glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. So, whoever needs a paper can take one. And if somebody comes, then you can pass them out also. Yeah, she has one, and you have your paper? Yeah, you have here. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so good. Mukam karati vachalam pangam rangai tegirim yakipam tamamande siguran tinatarinam Om Gyana Timarandasa Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumidhitam Yena Tasamai Shri Gurave Namaha. We also need some water for drinking. Please, thank you. Yeah, we need water. Yeah, there's a lot of chairs, but everyone likes the floor. That's okay. No problem. Okay. So I'd like to welcome you to the second day of our seminar on prayers of Prahlada Maharaj. Yeah, that's an extra. You can just keep up there for. Oh, please take one copy here. The papers. Yeah, it'll be for whoever comes. So yes, you can go to your outline sheet. It should be the first page. The first page. And we'll summarize what we did yesterday. The prayers of Prahlada, he starts with humility, and that's the way to start your prayers, with a humble position, and then you're ready to hear from what the Lord wants to tell you. The message will come. And if you are humble, then you can get the message. So then we see verses 9 to 12. That's your first page of your seminar paper, flip chart outline. So 4 reasons why Prahlada is confident that the Lord will hear his prayers, even though he is born in a demonic family. Because Krishna, the Lord doesn't care about material opulence or powers, mystic powers, all these things, good family. Even animals like Gajendra and Hanuman could please him, so we can also do it. If Gajendra can do it, so can we. If an elephant can do it, we also have that power. So he was confident that also, it doesn't matter of your birth, if you're a Vaishnava, is better than a non-devotee Brahmana, born in Brahmin family, but he's not a devotee. In Krishna, another verse 11, Krishna is self-sufficient, but he just wants our love. He doesn't need anything. Everything belongs to him. And if we just chant in here, we will be purified. So then verses 13, 14, he's pacifying the Lord, who is very, very angry. 15, but he's not afraid of the Lord. But he is afraid, Prahlada is afraid of Maya, bad association. And he was saying, when will Krishna call me to his lotus feet? And then we heard about the remedies. They're worse than the disease. And so the only remedy is devotee association. And somebody did say that when that's the way Krishna is calling. It was Taravali. She was saying when she's away from the devotees, then she hears the call of Krishna because she's feeling separation. And that's the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. So then now today we're going to hear more about why should we surrender to Krishna. Yesterday we heard Krishna is everything, so we should surrender. And then our mind is trapping us with so many desires. And that's another reason why we should surrender. So the first verse, you don't have this verse yet. You only have one today. I'll let you know when. That Prahlada Maharaj is saying that, my Lord, you've created this world. You're above everything. But as for me, I'm being crushed by the wheel of time. Yes, you've got one. Good, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So I'm being crushed. Anybody here is being crushed by the wheel of time? Even young people are being crushed. Oh, I know the old ones are, like me. Time is crushing us. So I know, because you have to work, and there's anxiety about the bills, there's anxiety about exams if you're a student. Even the kids are being crushed by time. And so therefore, Prahlada says, I'm being crushed, so therefore I surrender to you. And that's why we should surrender to Krishna, because we are being crushed by time. We know it's very difficult, and if you want to be saved, Lord Chaitanya tells us in his prayers, please pick me up. I forgot you, I fell in this ocean. Yeah, one time my son on Facebook, he was making a joke and he was showing his hands up, I don't know, in some kind of, I think this gesture like, it doesn't matter, I'm sinking in this ocean, everything's okay. And so I put the prayer by Lord Chaitanya, please pick me up from this ocean and place me as an out of a dust at your lotus feet. So yeah, he got a kick out of that. Because that's our position here. Time is crushing us. We're being crushed by time. Thank you for the water. So what to do if you're being crushed by time? I know when I was young, I would be looking in the mirror and I was saying, yeah, I'm not this body, but I don't really experience it. But now I look in the mirror and I say, I'm not this body, for sure. That's not me, with all these wrinkles and funny things happening to me on my face. That's not me. But now I go to the last 2-3 years ago, when I would go to the pool, they would wonder if I wanted concession or not, but now it's no doubt. They know you need concession. So yes, I'm definitely over the hill as far as physical body is concerned, but that doesn't mean I can't serve Krishna. We can serve Krishna in any condition of life. So now you can look at your outline again. We're on verse 23. Why should we surrender? Everything is finished in a second. Isn't that interesting? So this is the material world. And big leaders I see every day, some famous person dies. This one, that one. You can take one of these papers. Now we're on verse 23. We're hearing, why should we surrender to Krishna today? Or every day. I mean, every day is the same. Good surrender. So yes, so we have experienced how everything is temporary. When I visited Christchurch in New Zealand, I was after they had a huge earthquake, and I saw the video. Within 45 seconds, the whole city crashed to the ground. The whole city. Nothing was left. The roads, everything was finished. So I was there one time. I woke up 2:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden, big, loud sound. Oh my God, it's an earthquake! My computer will fall on the ground. I should have chanted, but I thought of Krishna. But no. So then another time, I was in this devotee's house, and it was 9:30. I was going to sleep, and then there was. I thought, 4 kids, they're making so much noise running across the ceiling. But then the house started to sway back and forth, and I said, oh my God, it's not the kids. That's another earthquake or tremor. And, in that situation, you can't tell what's up, what's down, what's right, what's left. You're just completely lost, and it was dark too. But then I came out of my room, and I saw the whole family was on their computers. Now it would be a cell phone, because cell phones have replaced a lot of what the computer does. And they were playing a game. Who's going to guess what is the number of the earthquake on the Richter scale? Some are saying 4.3. No, it's 4.7. No, I was not amused by their game at all. That's what they play in the earthquake zone. And so I was there. We were walking on the beach. There was a lady walking her dog. And she said, earthquake came. Now my apartment is in the red zone. So I can't live there because it's in the red zone. I have to live on the beach, but I still have to pay rent for my apartment. And I think in the recent fires in California, they were wondering if they still have to pay the mortgage if the house is not there anymore. What can they do? They can't resell the house. They can't put it up for auction. It's gone. So yeah, these things happen within a. And now again, the fire is starting in another direction. So that's this material world. It's like a fire coming in different directions, as we described previously in the last Bhagavatam class I gave, that Maharaja Yudhishthira in Mahabharata, he was asked the question, what is the news? And he answered that this world, this universe is like a gigantic frying pan. We're all being fried. And some of us are well done. And some of us are completely fried. But that's the news. And, and time is the cook, the sun is the fire, and the days and nights are the fuel for this fire. So everything is so temporary. When we were driving in church, in Christ Church, then there were there were no roads, just like dirt roads, but there were speed limit signs. 30, temporary. 40, temporary. You really got the idea that everything was temporary over there. Because they were going to build the roads, then they would have the proper signs. And there would be signs in the buildings in big letters. Move to such and such address, temporary. Like the whole thing, you know. But that's the news of this material world. It's temporary, and we're all being fried. So verse 24, now how to surrender, become servant of the servant. Very, very important. And so that's what we have to do, how to surrender. We're going to talk about that in more detail later on. So then verse 25, we got the news. There's a blazing fire, and we are in that fire. So no happiness here. Let's see what Prahlada says about that in verse 25. In this material world, every living entity desires some future happiness, which is exactly like a mirage in the desert. So do you have mirages over here in Christ Church? You know what a mirage is? If you're driving on the road and it's a hot, hot day, I don't know if it gets that hot over here. Yeah, it does. I think Monday is supposed to be 38. So Monday you can see the mirage on the road when you're driving. It looks like there's water. It's steaming ahead of you, some water. Looks like maybe a little water. And you drive towards it, but as you drive towards it, it moves further ahead. And that is compared to happiness in this material world. You go towards it, and it keeps moving ahead. And even if you get it, you're not satisfied. You get something, you enjoy it, but it's very, very temporary. Just like in Ireland, there was one devotee distributing books. He met one Irishman, and the Irishman said, the happiest day of my life was when I got my boat. Because in Ireland, there's all these rivers and lakes. They call them lochs. And so then he said, yes. But then after that, the happiest day of my life was when I sold my boat because I couldn't maintain it. Well, that's happiness in this material world. And that's why we should surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, because we can get real happiness. We can get real happiness here, permanent happiness. And that's why I'm still a devotee after 55 years of happiness in Krishna consciousness. Because for me, there's no alternative. And I'm not in one old age home just waiting to die. I'm out there going all over the world trying to share what I learned from Srila Prabhupada. So 26, so you don't have it. Let's see what it says. Here it says, cause us mercy if we surrender. So we heard so many kind of negative reasons why we should surrender. There's no happiness, everything's temporary, being crushed by time, the mind is trapping us. But here's a good reason. If we surrender to Krishna, we will get very special, causeless mercy. So what does the word causeless mean? Causeless. Anybody have an idea what that, yes? Yeah, okay, we don't have to work for it. Okay, any other ideas? No cause. Yeah. And another thing is we don't deserve it, but we get it. So that if we surrender to Krishna, we will get mercy that we don't deserve. Our karma will be reduced. That will be the mercy that we get if we surrender to Krishna. I told this story at a few days ago to the devotees. I don't know which devotees, some new devotees who had a meeting on Wednesday. What are they called? Friends of Krishna or something? Nothing. Just, okay, so some newcomers. Anyway, I told this story about my friend who came to Vrindavan, and she got some medicine across the street from the temple, but it was full of lead, so she got lead poisoning. And she was in the hospital for 3 months. And she was wondering, well, why am I in the hospital? I'm Krishna's devotee, you know. So then she went, after she got out of the hospital, she went to astrologer. Astrologer said, oh, in those 3 months, you should have been in a terrible accident and be paralyzed for life. But because you were in the hospital, you couldn't move anywhere, so you were saved. Now, Krishna has his ways. He reduced the karma of my friend, and she got saved from being paralyzed for life. She was paralyzed for 3 months in the hospital bed. So it was only 3 months instead of whole life. Yeah, so we can be grateful to Krishna when difficulties come. So Prahlada got special mercy. He got the hand of Nrsimhadev on his head. As we said yesterday, we can have that same benefit from the Lord by chanting Hare Krishna. When we chant the name of the Lord, our tongue is touching the lotus feet of Krishna. And so, and Prahlada said, you know, even Lakshmi, Brahma, Shiva, they didn't get what I got. So isn't that interesting? And Lakshmi, it's true. Now, we live in Vrindavan. Lakshmi is on the other side of the Jamuna River in Bilvavan. And she's doing austerities. She's not like giving benediction. She's like this, doing austerities, because she wants to come to the other side and join the rasa dance. But even though she's been doing austerities for hundreds and millions of years, she still hasn't made it yet over. So this month, when it's severe cold, special month, every Thursday, the residents of Vrindavan go across the river and give khichdi to Lakshmi. And they give their benedictions to her. Okay, yes, we give you our benedictions. They give you our blessings. They don't get blessings from her. They give her blessings. So isn't that interesting? So we will get that causeless mercy if we surrender to Krishna. Verse 27, Prahlada says, you don't discriminate between friends and enemies. You give benedictions according to the levels of one's service. So that's how can you understand how much mercy you get if you serve Krishna 100%, you get 100% mercy. And so this is the secret. If it's in proportion to your service to Krishna. So now we'll go to verse 28, which you do have on your verses. It's on the second page. Now, why we're on the topic, why should we become servant of Krishna? So you look on your verse sheet on the second page, page 2, second page of your verse sheet. No, your verse sheet. You have to look on the back of that. And then you'll find verse 7, 9, 28 will be the top of your page. So I'll sing one line, and you can repeat after me. Evam janani patitam prabhava hikupe. Evam janani patitam prabhava hikupe. Kama vikama manuya paparan prasangat. Ma vikama manuya prapadam prasangat. Krivat masat sarashina bhagavan gita. Masat sarashina Bhagavan Grihita Soham katana vishije tava yasevam. Soham katana vishije tava yasevam. My dear Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant, Narada Muni, kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? So, it's very interesting. Srila Prabhupada calls Prahlada Maharaj a Shakyavesha avatar. And he was a special, he was not just ordinary soul. And we have 9 processes of devotional service, and Prahlada is in charge of one of those. He shows us how to do. Which one does anybody know? Vishnu Smaranam, very good. Remembering Krishna. So no matter where he was, what was happening to him, he was remembering Krishna. His father was trying to kill him in so many ways, but he did not stop remembering Krishna. So and now he's Shaktivesh avatar. He's face to face with Lord Nrsingadev. But he doesn't say to Nrsingadev, okay, what can I do for you now? What service? No. He says, how can I serve my Guru Narada Muni? How can I do his service? What can I do for him? So even though he's face to face, so if you ever get in that position, the Lord comes to you, just remember your Guru. Say, how can I serve my Guru? How can I serve Srila Prabhupada? Follow Prahlada Maharaj. And so here it talks about Ahi Kupa. Ahi Kupa, we fill in a well full of snakes. Does anybody know what are the snakes that are biting us? A well of snakes. What are these snakes? Great, yeah, okay, we're more. So that's subtle. What about the gross? There's some gross snakes also. Anybody know what those are? Anger, yeah, it's also subtle. That's more like mental. Birth, yeah, that's more gross. Something else. Jealousy, yeah, that's more subtle. It's the 5 senses. That's the snakes that bite us. See this. Go and scroll on Facebook. Scroll on the internet. See all the different things or hear the different things that are there. That's the snakes. And the cell phone is, Maharaja, Sachinandan Swami says, the cell phone is a weapon of distraction. We have weapons of destruction and we have weapons of distraction. So for devotee, there's weapon of distraction. So yes, your eyes will want to see, okay, what's, how many likes did I get over here? I posted this yesterday. And who is liking and who is loving and who is not surprised? Yeah, our snakes are biting us. They want to know what is going on virtually. Yeah, even though it's not gross. Yeah, before it wasn't so difficult. We didn't have, it's possible to live without cell phones and computers. I have experience of that. You haven't, but it's possible. It's possible. But for the young people, if you take away the cell phone, there's withdrawal symptoms. I saw on the plane ride, there was a lady with a baby on her lap. Maybe she's 1 year old, 1.5. Mother took away the cell phone. She had a huge tantrum in the plane, and she's not even 2 years old yet. So this is happening. The kids are plugged in, and yeah. So this is a problem. We have these kala sarpas, so we have to use them in the service of Krishna. Of course, if you put deities on your feed, then that will be good. I take darshan in Ireland, in Germany, in Vrindavan, and Alachua every day. I see the deities in all the different places. And so that's wonderful. So you can take paper here. Yeah. So, okay, so Srila Prabhupada says, we should pray, my dear Vaishnava, kindly accept me as your dog. Because we have to learn from the dog how to be faithful to the master. How to be faithful. Srila Prabhupada said dog is the lowest. But actually, the dog has one good quality. He's faithful to the master. And if you're not faithful to your guru, then you're less than a dog. And so, okay, I'll just tell you one story. We're on verse 28. We just read that on the verses. It's about why it's best to be servant of the servant better than serving Krishna directly. And so I'll give you a story. True story, happened in Vrindavan. One lady came. People come to Vrindavan to die, to leave their bodies. She came. She had this disease, multiple sclerosis. It took her 20 years to die in Vrindavan. And so she was like in the bed most of the time. She didn't even have strength to chant, to put her hand in her bead bag. She was listening to classes online. So that was good. But then at the end of her life, just before she left her body, she had a vision that she was walking on the path back to Godhead. And next to her was Srila Prabhupada. He was walking with her. But on two sides of the path, people were criticizing her. Oh, she didn't chant her rounds properly. Oh, she's a woman, she can't go. Oh no, she didn't go to temple every day. They were all criticizing her. And then, so in her vision, Srila Prabhupada turned to those people and said, it's okay, she's with me. So that's what we have to do, follow Srila Prabhupada, and he will take us and we'll be with him. We'll be with him. And so this is a lesson to learn. So now we're going to have some discussion. I'd like to ask you the question, why is it better to be servant of the servant than to serve Krishna directly? Why is it better to serve the servant? Who can tell me? There's many reasons. Yes? Because devotees are dear to Krishna. Krishna will be pleased, more pleased, if you serve the devotees. Yes? They know how to serve the Lord better. Yeah. In Alachua temple, they make an announcement every day who dressed the deities. But they say, who helped their spiritual master in dressing the deities today? And then they give the name. So that's what we're doing. It's Prabhupada's service, it's Guru's service, but we're helping. We're the servants. Okay, what's another reason why it's better to be servant of the servant? Yes? Only devotee can give you Krishna. Yes, Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, I'm running behind the devotee saying, Krishna, Krishna. He said, Krishna she tomar, Krishna diti para, tomar shakti ache. That Krishna is yours. You have the power to give Krishna to me. Yes, so that's why it's better to serve the servant. Krishna, he's not so happy if you worship him directly. He says, one who worships me directly, he's not my devotee. But one who worships my devotee, he is my devotee. Any other reasons why it's better to serve the servant? Yes? He's more merciful. Oh yeah, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will see Krishna is really heavy. At the end of Gita, he says, don't teach Gita to the non-devotee, one who is not austere, one who is not engaged in devotional service. And the Prabhupada says, but the devotees, they hold open class. Anyone can come. Non-devotees, non-austere people, not engaged. So he's more merciful. Krishna is heavy. And he says, you can become firm in devotional service if you're free of sinful activities, and he gives a whole list. But the devotee, he helps us, even if we're not ready. Okay, he's more merciful. Prabhupada has said that even if you're only 75% free from material desire, then he will take you back to Godhead. I mean, he gave a class. First he said 100% you got to be free. And then everyone was looking down. And he said, okay, 90%. And devotees were, no. They said, okay, 80%. And then finally he got off his vyasa, he looked back, 75%. So if we can make it 75, that means at least 2 nishta, according to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, that when almost all the bad things are finished, we come to nishta. And so if we can get that, at least be in the mode of goodness. Come to the mode of goodness. Come to the level, at least, where we have control of our senses to some extent. Balance. Mode of goodness means balance. Some passion, ignorance may be there, but it's under control. We can control it. Okay, any other reasons? Why is it better to be servant of the servant and to serve Krishna directly? Yeah, we're not qualified to serve Krishna directly. We have no adhikar. Right, so that's why we serve the servant. We can't really see, of course, we see the deities, that way we serve Krishna, but it is, as Alachua Temple says, who helped their spiritual master today to address the deities. Okay, yes, somebody over here had their hand up, yes? Mm-hmm. Oh. Gopi Bharta Kamala Das Das Anu Das. Lord Chaitanya said, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for us. Yeah, he says, I'm not in the Varnashram, but I'm just servant of the servant of the gopis. Okay. Any other? I've got one more here. I got one more reason. Yeah? Yeah. Krishna is pleased with humility. You have to take a humble position to serve the servant. And somebody asked Prabhupada one time that in Lord Chaitanya Shikshastika, where is it said that about Guru, we have to serve the Guru? And Prabhupada said, Chanadapi Sunichena Tarodapi Sayishina. Humility means you have to accept the Guru and serve the Guru. So it's there. I still have one more reason, and so I'll tell you. You will get more mercy because you serve the Guru, then his Guru, and his Guru. All those people will give you mercy. 35, 36, I don't know, I've lost count. So many. You'll get the whole parampara behind you if you serve the servant. And the more times the further away you are, the more mercy you get. That's how it works in the spiritual world. So now the next verse, verse 29, you do not have it, but there's one more reason why it's better to be servant of the servant than to serve Krishna directly. So Prahlada says, "Oh my Lord, you have killed my father Hiranyakashipu and saved me from his sword." He had said very angrily, "If there's any supreme controller other than me, let him save you. I shall now sever your head from your body. Therefore, I think that both in saving me and in killing him, you have acted just to prove true the words of your devotee. There is no other cause." Okay. So now my next question is, there's two things here. So the reason that he gives better to serve the servant is that if a devotee promises something, the Lord must make it come true. Must make it come true. Yes, very, very interesting. I just read a remembrance of Srila Prabhupada by some devotees. When Prabhupada was here, they did a drama in front of Prabhupada. And so then after the drama, Prabhupada was so pleased. He said, everyone who is present here will go back to Godhead in this life. So, yeah. and so it has to be true. Another time was 1967, or 68, the second Rath Yatra in San Francisco. So Prabhupada was there, and after they went to the beach from the temple with the Rath cart, and he looked around at everyone there, and there was, hippies, who helped pull the cart, and devotees. And he said, anyone who has helped in this Rath Yatra will go back to Godhead in this very life. He said that to some of my God sisters, you will go back in this life. So Krishna must make it come true. And that's another reason why it's better to be servant of the servant if a devotee promises something, it must come true. I think today's Bhagavatam class was all about promising and how it's so important to keep your promise. And so he says, even if, now in his lecture on this verse, Prabhupada said, even if a devotee says something wrong, Krishna must make it come true. So yeah, it could be that Prabhupada was saying all those hippies are going to go back in this life, but so Krishna has to somehow make it come true. So yeah, when I was in India in the 80s, I was in Juhu, Bombay, and there was, I think I told the story how austere it was. I didn't tell in this class. So, like we landed in Juhu, first day at Prasadam. The men were living in a hut. It was Prasadam room, office, kitchen, everything in one hut. Breakfast time, sitting, look, and these huge, big rats, fat, were running across the rafters of the hut. And I was thinking, I hope he doesn't fall on my plate. He fell in someone else's plate. So I was happy. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but anyway, that was life in. And ladies' ashram was on the roof of a building, and it was summer. So it was pretty austere. So this one man, Mr. Sethi, life member, he was a construction person, so he wanted to serve Prabhupada's disciples, so he built rooms on top of apartments. There were apartments in the back, but all the tenants, in India, the law is, if you want to get a tenant out, you have to pay the full price of the apartment to that tenant. So it was and finally they did get everybody out. Each one had to have like 4 crores or something, because it was very expensive. So, but in that time, he was building rooms for us on top of the buildings. So then Prabhupada called him to see him, and Mr. and Sethi went to see Prabhupada, covered with cement, covered with dust from construction. Prabhupada said to him, just as you are building rooms for my disciples, so Krishna is building rooms for you in Goloka Vrindavan. So the man said, but Swamiji, I'm so sinful, how can I go? He was still drinking tea, he never got initiated. So how can I go? Prabhupada said, that I will see. So he left his body, we know where he went, in his room in Goloka, to his room. So yeah, that's the benefit of serving the devotees, serving the servants. So now the next verses from 30 to 36 are all about creation. Yes. So I'll just summarize them. Verse 30 is about how the Lord is before, during, and after the creation. So this is on your outline, first page of all your papers, verse 30. So we're just going to summarize these verses. He's the maintainer, he's the creator, and he's the destroyer of this creation. So that we can, hard to experience because we're only here in the middle. But of course, we can experience at the time of death. We will be able to see Krishna or Prabhupada or Lord Chaitanya or everyone at the time of death. Whoever we are most attached to, they will come and take us. There was one lady in Mayapur. She was leaving her body. And so she lost consciousness a bit. She was in coma. And she said when she came back, oh, Krishna came and asked me if I want to go with him. And I said no. So then another 2 weeks passed, and then she went in coma again. And then she came back and she said, oh, Radharani asked me. I said yes. So, yeah, this is, we have a choice at the time of death. But sometimes we don't. It may happen quickly. Now, I just saw yesterday, one disciple of Vaisheshika just left his body, young boy, just got initiated. And a few weeks ago, and he just was in a car accident, and he's gone. And so Vaisheshika gave the prayer, oh Krishna, if you so desire, please give this devotee, I think Ishra something, Ishra Chandra or something. Please take him, engage him in pure devotional service to your lotus feet, if you so desire. And so, yeah, it can happen. It can happen. And so then, verse 31, we're on the first page of the papers, if you have the papers. Otherwise, you can get one over here. You have it. Okay, good. Good, you came prepared. Thank you. So verse 31, we're on the first page. It talks about how everything is Krishna, but Krishna is aloof from it. Let's see what it says here. Cause and effect. Okay, what does that mean? Krishna, okay, first before I talk about Krishna, I'll talk about the analogy that Prahlada gives. If you're planting something, you have a seed of a tree, a seed of a plant, you put it in the ground. Now, when the plant starts growing out into a tree, into a plant, then the seed you can't see anymore. So Krishna is the seed of this universe, and it's all grown from him, and now we can't see the seed. We can only see the plant. We can only see the things around us, but we don't see the seed. So that's how it is that we can't see how Krishna is here. And that's why we have to do devotional service. A seed in the tree. And then we'll go to verse 32. This is Yoga Nidra, actually. But the Lord is in Yoga Nidra. Eyes are half closed. Half closed. Yes. Yeah, one time, I was at the bookstall in Bombay, and we had a picture of Mahavishnu sleeping, and one person came. I think he was an atheist, and he said, "I think he's sick. He's not sleeping. He's just sick. That's why." So we shouldn't follow him. But no, he's sleeping half-closed eyes. And the yogis, they're supposed to practice Ashtanga yoga with half-closed eyes, because if you open your eyes, you might get distracted, and if you close your eyes, you might go asleep. You might fall asleep. So when I was taking yoga before, Hatha yoga, before I joined Krishna consciousness, and it was not Hatha yoga; it was actually meditation, TM, meditation. So they sell you a mantra, and you're supposed to chant it morning, evening, and then the rest of the day do whatever you like. So I went to one of their classes in meditation, and when I was in the class, half of the people were snoring. And I thought, is that the goal? I mean, I'm supposed to fall asleep? Is it good for helping you sleep? No, not. That's not the goal. We're not supposed to sleep while we chant Hare Krishna mantra and japa. We should not sleep. So have closed eyes. And that is how the Lord is in his yoga sleep. Of course, the yogis, they also supposed to practice with half closed eyes. Another thing about Vishnu is that he's lying on Ananta. So Srila Prabhupada said that is the original floaty. And that's where we get the idea to have a floaty, because he has one. And because everything that we do here is coming from the spiritual world, it's a reflection. So we all like the floaties because Vishnu has his floaty in the ocean, causal ocean. And yes, we have our floaties. So verse 33, we're in the creation. Oh, yes. Kala Shakti is agitates, so time agitates this material world. And then again, we're talking about Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and the lotus flower grows out of his navel, and Lord Brahma is born there. So then 34, from that flower Brahma was generated, but he couldn't see anything. It was all dark. Yeah, so just like we can wake up and it may be dark and we don't know. Sometimes I don't even know which country I'm in when I wake up in the morning. And then I kind of, if I'm in Europe, I look at the language. If I find what language is there around me, German or something. Oh, I'm in Germany, okay. Sometimes I don't know. And so, imagine waking up in darkness, everything is dark, and there's nobody around you. That was Brahma's position. He woke up, and but then he thought, okay, I feel something here. Let me go and see what's, if there's nothing up, so let me go down. And then he went down and he heard the word tapa. He understood, oh yes, tapa, I know what that means. It means austerity. So he meditated on the Gayatri mantra. That was his austerity. And so in 35, it said, he had no mother or father, so he took shelter of the lotus flower and did austerities for many hundreds of years. And then he got darshan of the Supreme Lord. So we don't have hundreds of years. We have maybe even 70, 80 years. So we should be serious in our meditation and Hare Krishna mantra. So 36, last verse. He saw the Lord with thousands of heads and faces and arms, universal form. That's what he saw. And that is the blueprint for creation. Because when he saw the universal form, he could see where are all the planets, where to put them, where to put different kinds of people in the lower planets and the higher planets, where the people go, where the planets go. And so it was like a blueprint for creation, the universal form. So yes, but we, of course, want to see Krishna's beautiful two-arm form. We want to see that form. Of course, Bhishma Dev, he was seeing the four-arm form, and that's why he was meditating on the four-arm form, and he went to the Vaikuntha planets, or he went to, could be also Dwaraka. Because in Dwaraka, the Lord, they realized him in four-arm form, but he only appears with two arms. But sometimes all the four arms manifest if it's needed. Okay, so I'll stop here and always think why it's better to be servant of the servant. And if you have any questions, you can ask at this point. Yes. 27. Okay. Okay, what is that again? The level of, yes, the level of the service, right. So how does causeless mercy match with according to your level of service? So yeah, according to our level of service, Krishna will give us mercy. It's not that he wants to give us more, but the problem is we're not open to it. So, and he tries to give us more mercy, but we may resist it. That's the problem. It's not that you only get a certain amount of mercy, but we're not like in a purport to Queen Kunti's prayers. Prabhupada says the Lord wants to give you full mercy, but we are reluctant to accept it. That's the problem. Yes, according to the thing is, in Gita he says, Yeya tamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamiham. I will give according to your surrender, I give you what you want. So that's true for the general devotees, but also the causeless mercy comes in that even though we do a certain amount of service, he gives us more mercy by giving us, he's in charge of the reactions that we get. So we're doing service, we get that mercy, but then there's another causeless mercy, which is referring to taking away our karma, reducing our karma. So that's also there. So there's two ways to see the mercy. Also, with the gopis, he said, I can't repay you. I can't reward you according to your service because you have outdone me. And so then he said, I cannot repay you. And so this verse, he kind of failed his promise. And so that's why he had to become Lord Chaitanya to repay the gopis. so he could feel what they were feeling and experience that. And along with him, they also came as his associates. Yeah, so there's two ways to see the mercy. One is, Vishnu Maharaj asked Prabhupada, how am I getting so much mercy? Prabhupada said, because you are open to it. The mercy is just like the rain is going on everyone's house. It doesn't matter. And it's going on the ocean. Ocean doesn't need the rain. It's going on the ocean. It's going on the desert. Doesn't go on the desert. Except recently it did go on the desert somehow. I heard in Dubai was flooded some months ago. So mercy is going everywhere. But if you put yourself in your closet and close all the windows, close the doors, you won't get it. And so he told Vishnujan, because you are open to receiving the mercy, so you are getting more mercy. You are getting lots of mercy. Any other questions about that? Mm-hmm. What stops us from getting the mercy? Well, like I think I was talking about it yesterday, that someone was afraid, if I chant Hare Krishna, maybe Krishna will take everything away from me. So we have our fears, we have our doubts, and that can stop us temporarily from getting the mercy. Or we might just be lazy, Srila Prabhupada says, I think I'll talk about that in my class on Sunday morning, Bhagavatam class, that, chant 16 rounds. You may be lazy, Prabhupada. You may not want to do it. But if you want to love Krishna, then you do it. And so according to your enthusiasm, and there's 6 things in Nectar of Instruction that tell how to get the mercy, and 6 things that tell you what will stop you. What will stop you is if you associate with non-devotees, if you, I can't remember it right now. Does anybody know that second verse? Nectar of Instruction. Oh, you can look it up. Oh, wow. Well, you have come prepared. I haven't. I'll tell you the verse. Text number 2. This will stop you from being open. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. So that's the first thing. Second, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. The latest cell phone, the latest car, or, 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. That could be Facebook, hearing everyone on Facebook. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. So sometimes people, they're very good in following the rules, but they're not compassionate to others. They may shout at others, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Maybe too heavy on other people. They don't have compassion. Or rejecting the rules and regulations and working independently or whimsically. And so then you can start your own movement. You get a little knowledge from ISKCON, and then you can go out and start your own movement. And there are devotees like that who have done that. There are movements like that, very strong movements. Or also, I can give you an example from my life, my experience. When I was in Moscow, I landed at the airport, and there was this driver who thought because he was a devotee, he was beyond the rules and regulations. So there was a huge traffic jam. So he drove on the sidewalk, where people were walking. I said, no, it's okay. I'm not in such a hurry, to get there. And his name was Yamaraj. So, no wonder. Anyway, in India there's also no rules, but this was really, they're not that bad. At least they don't, of course there's no sidewalks, so that could be why. Then number 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. So that could be on Facebook. Depends who your friends are. if you have some non-devotee friends, then they could be putting up all kinds of things, and you don't want to see them. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. Yeah, thank you very much. So that's what stops you from getting mercy. And then you can read the next 6, what will help you, that being enthusiastic and having confidence, following the rules and regulations properly, having a maintenance, doing a job that's not, against the devotional principles. Yeah, and hearing Krishna Katha. So these things are helpful, and there's things which are not helpful, which will close yourself from the mercy. And yes, question in the back. Okay, so sometimes you hear the more service, the better. But sometimes the consciousness is not there. And you can even get burned out. So what's important is every day you must have a time out where you can do what you like for Krishna. Of course, chanting is also very important. You need time out to restore. If you're just always giving, I can give example. His Holiness Sachinandan Swami. So 11 months of the year he's out there traveling, preaching. 1 month he stays in Govardhan and just chants 64 rounds every day. And he finds that helps him. That gives him enough energy for the rest of the year to go on preaching. So we have to see ourselves. Maybe you 1 day a week you can just take off, but not that you go on your phone, not for that. But try to restore your spiritual energy. Maybe you have to listen to some lectures online. Maybe you have to. Maybe you need a little recreation. As Gita says, you have to regulate eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. So you might need that. You have to see if that is out of balance also. You should not do so much service that you can't eat or sleep properly or even have recreation, like walking. Prabhupada used to walk every day. That was his recreation. 1 hour a day, walking. That was his recreation. Okay, so, yeah, and you had a question in front. Okay, go through the devotee to serve Krishna. Okay, so the question is, should we just pray to the spiritual master, or is it okay to pray to Krishna? Yes, we have been giving 9 processes of devotional service. Archana, Vandanam is one of them, prayer. So we can see how devotees in Bhagavatam, they did, Prahlada is praying to Nrsimhadev, but he's praying to serve his guru. And so, and also, Kunti, she prays, and all you can study the prayers. It's okay to pray to Krishna. It's one of our 9 processes of devotional service. And it's also okay to pray to Guru. Guru and Krishna both are helping us to advance in spiritual life. So we can appreciate Krishna. Yes, prayers to Krishna. Nectar of Devotion describes 3 kinds of prayers we can offer to Krishna. And one is just basically appreciation, gratitude. It's a prayer of gratitude. And the second one is a prayer of repentance. Oh, I've done so many bad things. Please forgive me from that. You can look it up in Nectar of Devotion. And then the last one is Lala Samai. And that is a prayer to realize what is your service to Krishna in the spiritual world. So advanced devotees, that's their prayer. What is my service for you in the spiritual world. So we have prayers like from Narottam Das Thakur, Lala Samayi, it's called. We have prayers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So you can study those prayers to see how to pray to Krishna in those moods. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has Sharanagati. So there are 6 symptoms of surrender: accepting everything favorable, rejecting everything unfavorable, and accepting Krishna as protector and maintainer, and surrendering everything like Bali Maharaj, and also humility. So those are the 6 symptoms of surrender. Yeah, both are good. And you can also pray to Krishna. It's allowed. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Jai, glories to Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Tomorrow will be the last class, 10 o'clock in the morning at the temple, right? It'll be set up in the temple tomorrow morning. No, I think so. Check this. I think it's this poster. I think it's in the temple tomorrow. I'm not sure. What do you think would be, if whatever it says we have to do? So, yeah. So you can all keep your papers and bring them tomorrow, and then we have some more for anybody else who comes. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.